Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena
Devan bhavayatanena
Te deva bhavayantu vaha
Te deva bhavayantu vaha
Parasparam bhavayantaha
Parasparam bhavayantaha
Shreyah paramavapsyatha
Shreyah paramavapsyatha
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha
Tairdattana pradayaibhyaha
Tairdattana pradayaibhyaha
Yo bhungte stena eva saha
Yo bhungte stena eva saha
Yajna shishtashinah santaha
Yajna shishtashinah santaha
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha
Ye pachantyatmakaranat
Ye pachantyatmakaranat
Annad bhavanti bhutani
Annad bhavanti bhutani
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Parjanyadanna sambhavah.
Yajnāt bhavati parjanyah.
Yajnāt bhavati parjanyah.
Yajnah karma samudbhavah.
Yajnah karma samudbhavah.
Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi.
Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma.
Nityam yajne pratishtitam.
Nityam yajne pratishtitam.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are studying the different dimensions of Parjanya. We have translated it as rain, but in the last few sessions you have been able to see the depth of this word, or we can say of this principle. See, what is interesting is, as you advance in spirituality, you will find that there will be no gap between your words and your principles. Your thought, your emotion, and your word will all be in a single line, no gap. See, when I said Parjanyaha, when I referred to Parjanyaha as a word, and then I refined it a bit and I said principle, there is a deep significance there. For these great masters, whatever they say and whatever they feel and think, they are all one and the same. No difference between the principles which they are following and the words which they speak. Today, I am dividing it and explaining it to you because there is a huge gap which has been created. People think one thing, they feel something else, they speak something which is totally different, not in alignment with emotions and thoughts. And to complete it further, they do something else also. Generally it is said, no, thought, word and deed. We are going a little more deeper. Thought, emotion, word and deed. Everything should be in a straight line. When we say straight line, there should be no gap. See, what do we mean by gap? We are not talking of time gap here. It's not that as you're thinking you should speak or act. We're not saying that. There is no gap in terms of quality or what it signifies. See, for example, if you have a lot of anger within yourself, but externally you are smiling. Now, there is a gap which you have created between your emotion and your expression, which is smile. Gap in terms of quality, gap in terms of what it signifies. A smile signifies happiness. Anger signifies agitations. That is the gap which I am talking about. So today, due to a false living, what has happened is a lot of gap has been created within yourself. See, these are all different aspects of your personality only. When you think, who is thinking? It is you only. When the emotion is there, who is having that emotion? You only. When you speak, again it is you. When you do something, again you are only doing it. So everything is happening inside you. But there is so much of conflict, so much of gap in terms of quality or what they signify. This conflict creates a lot of stress. This does not allow you to evolve spiritually. It does not give you that required happiness in the world. In the Mahabharata, there was Krishna, and then on the other side there was Shakuni. Both of them had a similarity in terms of expressing themselves. Krishna had a charming smile. Shakuni also used to smile a lot. See how beautifully Vyasa has depicted the human psychology. All yogis were great psychologists. Actually, psychology is an integral part of yoga and spirituality, because basically psychology deals with the mind. Yoga and spirituality also deals with the mind, and it goes much beyond the mind also. So two characters are there. One is Lord Krishna, other Shakuni. Both of them are smiling. But what is the difference? When Krishna smiles, it is a genuine smile. It is an expression of happiness. When Krishna smiles, he shares his happiness with you. Whereas when Shakuni smiles, it is not an expression of happiness necessarily. He is planning and scheming how to pull you down, how to pull the other person down, how to defeat this person, how to cheat this person. The smile itself is a tool to cheat the other person. So there is a big difference. With respect to Krishna, there was no gap between his expressions and his feelings and his thoughts. Whereas when it came to Shakuni, there was a huge gap. So as you advance in spirituality, you will find that the gaps within your personality will all start going away. Because it is those gaps which create that inner stress, inner strain. If you take a newborn baby, there is no gap between its emotion, expression. Even when a baby speaks, It is just an expression of whatever is happening inside. So, if you look at Parjanyaha as a principle, not only Parjanyaha, all the various things which we are seeing, if you consider them as principles, that is the right way. If you say, no, they are words, then also it's right from the yogi's point of view, because for a yogi there is no difference between a word and a principle. A word is only an expression of a principle for a yogi. But I'm not using that that language of a yogi here, because today nobody is used to this pure way of functioning. You're so used to living with these gaps within your personality. So the moment I say Parjanyaha as a word, you will merely understand it as a word. If I say principle, you will understand it as a principle. If I say emotion, you will understand it as an emotion. Because you're seeing differences in all these things. For a yogi, he sees all these as one and the same. Different stages of the same thing. If you take a seed, now the seed becomes the fruit later on. It becomes a plant, and then the plant becomes a tree. From the tree we get fruits. For a true gardener, a lover of plants, a seed and a tree, they both are one and the same. They are one and the same object at different periods of time. The tree is nothing but the unmanifest seed and the manifested seed, and the seed is nothing but the unmanifest tree. No difference. But just imagine, if you have a mango seed and then from it comes a coconut tree, is that possible? It's not possible. So one of the two has to be artificial. So with a mango seed, when you claim that you've got a coconut tree, the coconut tree has to be artificial. It goes against nature. This is what causes that inner friction. So Shakuni's seed was negative, but the tree was a smile, positivity. But as the law goes, a mango seed cannot produce a coconut tree. So his smile has to be artificial. That's what is described. It was artificial. So when you do your sadhana diligently, when you go deep within you, and when you start purifying your emotions, when you start purifying your thoughts, and when you start getting established in these higher principles of life, thereafter you will find a tremendous alignment within you. And with that alignment, when you start functioning in life, your expressions will be so beautiful, like the smile of Lord Krishna. The smile of Lord Krishna is not to be seen in a very restricted manner. Oh, Krishna smiled. It's not merely that. That is the incident and stories when you read. But as a sadhak, you should become more deep. The smile of Lord Krishna represents the divine, spiritual expressions of a yogi, of anyone who's in this path and develops himself or herself to the higher levels of perfection. Krishna's smile was so wonderful. It created so much of happiness in others. It gave solace to others. It brightened everybody's mood. Similarly, your personality will start brightening everyone. So today, are your expressions like the smile of Shakuni or like the smile of Lord Krishna? It's a deadly question to ask. You will not want to answer that. Actually, it will be a mix. Sometimes there will be no alignment. Sometimes there will be alignment. Doesn't matter. As long as you are sincere, you are attending these Sunday sessions, you are absorbing this higher wisdom through the yogic approach, sincerely you're practicing them and you're doing your daily sadhana, you're attending the empowerment courses to rejuvenate yourself, to increase the capacity of your meditativeness. So as long as you're doing all this, now it is only a question of time. The expressions may not change. The smile remaining the same, the inner personality will change from a Shakuni to Krishna. Similarly, your external lifestyle may remain the same, but there will be a complete inner transformation, a complete transformation of your personality. And when that happens, that will automatically start having a very powerful divine effect on others also. Whether they call it divine or not, that is immaterial. Sometimes some people may not even recognize it immediately. Doesn't matter. Whether they consciously see it or not, their deeper minds will get affected by your positive energy. People who are not so cooperative will start cooperating with you. You will think, oh, what a great miracle has happened. Actually, it is not a miracle. It is just that your energy pattern has changed. Your personality has become very much aligned to the higher principles of life. So every week we are picking up these powerful words. What gives that power to those words? Per se, a word is neither powerful nor weak. The power of these words is not in the words, but it is in the principles, the higher principles which these words represent. So it is said in the scriptures, no? If you just chant the name of God once, you will attain moksha. If you just utter the name of Sri Hari just once, you will attain moksha, realization. Now immediately you say, okay, let me utter it once and say Sri Hari. And then you look at yourself in the mirror. Has any change happened now? Have I become an enlightened person? No change. So you may be wondering, what is this that they are saying? How is it that if you just utter Sri Hari or Shiva or Shakti or any of the name, just once you will get enlightened. There is a very deep significance there. You are uttering the name of God merely as a word. But what they are referring to is when that word becomes so powerful, when it starts denoting not merely an emotion for you, not merely a higher principle for you or higher thought for you, but when it starts denoting the infinite for you, when you give so much of depth to that name, and then when you utter it even once, you will attain moksha, because it will become a very powerful mantra. Because when that name represents the infinite, it will instantly dissolve all the ego. It will give you the highest experience. So the great master said, just chant the name of the Lord. That is more than enough. So people have understood it very superficially. They are just mechanically muttering the name of God, but their energies are so dissipated. If you go very deep into that, it's the same principle which is being expounded to you right now. A yogi learns to express himself or herself in a full way, in a deep way. It's never frivolous. It's never superficial. It's never artificial. When you go and interact with the master, you will find that the master is genuinely concerned about you, has so much of love for you. That is so authentic. Even when the master is a little harsh externally, it is backed up by this same unconditional love, and which is aligned to the higher principles of life. The internal alignment is so strong that whatever be the manifestations, whatever be the expressions, they always communicate the divine energy. Different masters came and they used different words, even to denote the infinite. But they all were referring to that one universal God principle. But the followers, since they had so much of gaps within their personalities, they were unable to truly grasp what these masters were communicating. They created differences amidst gods. Actually, there is nothing like gods. There is only one God. The moment we use the word gods in plural, it only means different manifestations of that one supreme reality, of that one God. So different religions, different creeds, different faiths, what in Sanskritam is called as sampradaya, means different practices. All these came about, but the masters were all united to that infinite supreme reality. So when one master used the word Ram, and another master used the word Krishna, another master used the word Shiva, Another master used the word Shakti. They are all referring to one and the same thing, which is the infinite reality. But the followers understand it in a different way. Why? Because they are seeing the difference between the word and the principle, the name and the higher energy. So it is only when you bridge that gap within you fully that you will begin to understand what your master is trying to communicate. See, a master is one who is completely pure, no gaps. So he is communicating from that level. A student receives from the level where there is so much of differences within the personality, so much of conflicts. So what he understands will have to be something else. That is why it's so important to be with the master, and over a period of time, slowly, you will begin to start getting a glimpse, or you will begin to start understanding what he is communicating. Initially you will feel you have understood. Yes, this I have understood, that I have understood. But as you do sadhana under his guidance, slowly you will begin to see that, oh, this is not what I thought. This is this is that. Your understanding starts becoming more and more deep. And after many years, suddenly, what you will understand from the same words of the master will be totally different from what you are understanding several years back. What has happened? Your personality has started getting integrated. So, yajna is the way by which you integrate your personality. There is no other way. Parjanya, a cloud, or we translate it as rain, that is a symbol of integration. Because on one hand, Parjanya means cloud, selflessness. On the other hand, it means the thunder cloud. That cloud which is charged with electricity, Shakti, which produces thunder, powerful actions, Karma Yoga, lightning, which is that spark, and rain, which is a conducive climate. When we are talking of personality, it is a conducive mental climate for higher spiritual growth. So all these different aspects are integrated into one word, and that is Parjanya. So when you come across a word like Parjanya, I'm using I'm calling it the word with little more freedom now, because I've explained it to you, so you'll be able to understand it better. So a word like Parjanya actually is built on this principle of integration. So when you are studying this, when you're trying to absorb the energy of this, you should absorb the energy of integration first. And that itself will start integrating your personality. How amazing it is to use just one word to mean so many, to integrate so many principles. This is the genius of these great masters. So starting from a cloud, to the thunder cloud, that is the Shakti, the powerful actions, the spark, which is the lightning, and rain, which is the conducive climate for productivity, conducive mental climate for spiritual growth, the conducive, making things conducive for a particular result to happen. That's how we can understand rain in a spiritual way, in a yogic way. So everything put together is Parjanya, and how beautifully he says, Yajnat bhavati Parjanya. From Yajna arises Parjanya. So many sadhaks had put their points, and many of them had written that when this point about the cloud being selfless, we are not even talking about the rest, just the fact that the cloud gives itself away when it is giving rain. Similarly, a yogi gives up his ego as he is serving selflessly. That is what is called selflessness. So when that was explained, many sadhaks said it hit them so powerfully, because day in and day out you are seeing the clouds, but they are saying we never looked at the cloud in this way, that in the process of giving rain it was giving itself away. This will become your daily experience, where in ordinary things of life you will start seeing the highest truth. William Cowper, the famous poet, he said, "They whom truth and wisdom lead can gather honey from a weed." One who is established in truth, in wisdom, wisdom means the higher wisdom, such a person can gather honey from a weed. A weed is something which we will consider as useless and throw out. He says, no, this person gets a capacity to gather honey from a weed. It's symbolic, not literal. Means the so-called ordinary experiences of life, which you may think, all these things don't have any value. Now, a spiritual person will have the capacity to eke out honey. Honey means that sweetness, that happiness, the divine energy from even weeds, from even ordinary experiences. So as these great truths are being passed on to you, the inbuilt mechanism of this yogic approach is that is this principle where even in ordinary things you are able to eke out the highest truth. Means you make even your ordinary experiences into extraordinary ones. So that principle is ingrained in the yogic approach. So if you just follow this pattern, now you, without your knowledge, you will absorb that depth, and after a while you will find that you will be doing the same things, that is, you will be following the same routine in life, but so much of happiness is there. The same ordinary activities will start giving you so much of happiness now. They whom truth and wisdom lead can gather honey from a weed. So, to a very superficial person, these words will mean nothing. From food arises beings, from rain arises food, from sacrifice arises rain. From sacrifice arises out of action. What is a big deal? That's what he will ask. He will say. But for a yogi, these are all coded words, They mean so much. So to a non-sadhak, life will be so empty. What is there? Same routine life. Many people say that, no? You get up, you brush your teeth, you have a bath. Now, the way they say it itself, little bit of spirit which you have also will go away, But for a yogi, these are not ordinary things, ordinary actions. Every little thing which is happening in your life has the divine spark. That is the meaning of lightning. Getting that spark in your life. I mentioned it last week, no? What is that spark? The divine spark in each and every aspect of your life, in each and every experience of your life. Once you get into that frequency, there is nothing called spiritual activity and worldly activity. Every activity becomes spiritual. Everything is nothing but yajna. That is why in the Chandogya Upanishad, he gives the example of the physical union between a man and a woman to represent yajna. What others would call as a worldly experience, sensual, this, that and all, he sees it as a divine act, that great master. So everything becomes so divine to you when you have that divine spark within you. When you don't have it, everything will be so dull. It's a drudgery. Life itself becomes a drudgery for you. So if you're a true sadhak, you should start experiencing this. So this is with respect to the rain, that is starting from the cloud to the rain which we saw. Now last week I had given 2 more dimensions also. We just started that. I'll explain that in a little more deep way, and then we will see a couple of more dimensions also, which will all be so useful for you. So Parjanyaha also means Indra. Lord Indra, who is the king of all gods, he is the king of enjoyment. So Indra represents enjoyment. Where was Indra residing? In heaven. And how is a heaven described? So beautiful. The flowers are there, fragrance. The place itself is so nice. And people are so happy there. Basically, people are enjoying themselves so much. That's how heaven is described, isn't it? When it comes to hell, the description is in terms of suffering. People suffer there. All kinds of hardships. Now, Indra being the Lord of the heavens, he represents the energy of enjoyment. I just now covered, no? They whom truth and wisdom lead can gather honey from a weed. So, enjoyment doesn't mean now you'll have to go looking out for various pleasures. That is indulgence. Actually, if you take Indra per se, he also represents indulgence. We are not seeing that aspect here. We are seeing the relevance of Indra in the context of Parjanya. We are only taking that aspect of enjoyment and seeing it here. Then only it will be useful for your sadhana. So enjoyment doesn't mean going out and, in an extroverted way and looking out for this, that, and that is actually a state where you are not happy with whatever you have. You constantly want to keep tickling yourself with various external objects. That is not what we are referring to here. Indra in this context represents that capacity within you to enjoy every experience of life. Some people have a lot of wealth, they have a nice family, everything is fine, but they don't enjoy anything. They are always agitated. Some people, they have just a few things in life. That's how it looks externally. But you find them so happy. They enjoy everything. How is that? It is that inner capacity to enjoy which we are trying to activate here. So as a sadhak, you should activate this energy or this capacity to enjoy rather than increasing the objects of enjoyment. That also you can parallelly do according to your finances and all that. But whether you are actually enjoying your life or not is not dependent on how many objects you have externally. It is directly proportional, or I would say it is dependent directly on the capacity to enjoy. See, when you have a stomach ache or some digestion issues, now you may have the best of food before you, but you will not be able to digest it. But if you're hale and healthy, if your digestion is in perfect condition, even a so-called ordinary food will be so tasty to you. You will be able to digest it and feel so good when you eat it. So we are talking about that capacity to digest, that is that capacity to enjoy. So that starts getting activated when you do sadhana. So when you don't have the capacity to enjoy, when that is very less, then you will try to compensate it by acquiring more and more from the world. And the amazing thing is that the more you acquire, the more lacuna you feel within yourself, that empty feeling is there. Have you ever asked this question, why is that? See, today, every month, every few months, all gadgets are being upgraded, no? Few more features, few more, whether it's a cell phone or a computer or anything. I'm not saying you should not upgrade your cell phone or your computer, that is fine. But when you do it thinking that that is what is real happiness. If I have the latest phone only, that will give me happiness. If I have one version before that, no, that is no use. With that feeling, if you are going to acquire that, that will never give you that enjoyment. Because the moment you acquire it, before you even start settling down with it, the next model will be ready. This is an endless process, the external quest. So this is what is happening today. In spite of so much of comforts, a human being is still stressed. See, what was the life in terms of comforts, I'm saying? What was the life 100 years back? What is it now? So much is there, no? Technology has advanced. 100 years back, there was no cell phone. Now cell phone is there. Now with the advent of AI, rapid development and technology is taking place. Comforts, With all that, the stress factor has also has increased. People were quite peaceful at that time. Now they've become more agitated. Why? This is what you need to think about, because the capacity to enjoy has reduced, but the objects of enjoyment have increased. It is like you've increased the quantity of food, the best food you have all the best dishes laid on in front of you on your dining table, but your capacity to digest has decreased. You're suffering from indigestion issues. Then that will be more frustrating actually. If you have the best food in front of you, but you are not able to digest it, won't that frustrate you more? This is the sad state of affairs in this world today. So these yogis are not against acquiring objects of enjoyment. They are saying that is not the primary criteria for enjoyment. It is your capacity to enjoy which matters. When we did the Finding Rhythm in Life, I gave you the 12 aspects of life. One aspect was bhogaha, enjoyment, which our yogis have given. This is one principle. Even that the empowerment will be given in the future for the enjoyment factor also, so that your capacity to enjoy will start increasing. That is the key. So that is represented by Indra. So how will you practicalize it in your life? Start enjoying these small things in life. When you wake up early in the morning and when the sun is rising, what an enjoyment you will get. Today you are not getting. Say, I am only describing it for you, but you should actually experience all this. In the night, if you just look out of your window or you go to the terrace and look at the moon, wow, how beautiful it is. When the breeze is hitting you, how wonderful it is. See, these small things are there, but you are not enjoying all of that. When you were a baby, you were enjoying everything. You see a baby, actually, a baby, and then even when it becomes a toddler, and then as the child is growing, they don't see any difference between a costly toy and a cheap toy and all that. It is the parents who teach the children all these things. You just give some, let us say for example, just an ordinary piece of paper torn into two halves. You give it to a baby and see. The baby will get so excited and it will keep playing with that paper. Sometimes I have seen babies playing with just a piece of paper for 1 hour, 2 hours and all. It is not in the toy, in the price of the toy, the enjoyment of the baby will increase. It has that capacity to enjoy, but parents don't enjoy all that simple things of life. So they think by buying costly toys to a baby, now the enjoyment factor will increase. And some parents, they buy a toy for a good amount of money and they give it to a child, and then they warn the child, keep it very carefully. And they get so stressed when the child is trying to use, it may be a doll, or it will throw the doll, it will play with it. Now I have seen parents, lose their cool and they start shouting at their children. I told you not to keep it carefully. See, it is broken now. Now, the child is playing with a broken toy also. So, the values which the mind is having, that itself is misplaced. So, parjanya means that capacity to enjoy. So, from that perspective, bhogaha and yogaha are one and the same, whether it's yoga or bhoga. True yoga will give you bhoga also. Bhoga is not indulgence, it's that capacity to enjoy. So, that is Indra. Now, Parjanyaha also means Gandharva. That's what the last week also I just mentioned. Now, who are these Gandharvas? They are all celestial beings who are very good in arts, like they were extremely good in music, in dance, all the forms of arts, no? So, these Gandharvas were great artists. That is how it's been described in our Puranas. So, some Gandharvas knew how to play instruments wonderfully, like some Gandharvas used to play the flute so beautifully. Another Gandharva knew how to play the veena so wonderfully. Some Gandharvas knew to sing, some Gandharvas knew to dance, some knew many of these. So they were all such great artistic people. So, what does a Gandharva represent? When we see the energy form, a Gandharva represents grace, that artistic form of energy. So, Parjanyaha represents grace and artistry. As you do your sadhana, now your grace will improve, will increase. You will become extremely graceful in whatever it is that you do. See, grace is not merely, learning some etiquettes and all that. That is also a part of it, but it is much more deeper. When you don't have this wisdom, your personality is very gross. Whereas as you do sadhana, you will become a very subtle person. You will become very artistic. Now you may ask me, sir, does it mean now I have to learn painting or does it I have to learn music? It's not that. You will become very appreciative of arts. Now, what is the importance in your life? Life, see, is so artistic. Every expression of nature is so beautiful, is so graceful, is so artistic. You are missing all that today. The enjoyment and grace, they both go together. Because when you become more graceful and artistic, when you start appreciating things in an artistic way, now your enjoyment factor will also increase. And when the enjoyment increases, you will become more graceful. They complement each other. I gave the example of the sun rising. How artistic it is. See, you've been listening to the Yoga Sankirtan, you've been doing the meditation for quite a bit of time now, whatever materials are being given to you. Have you noticed that artistry behind it? You don't necessarily require knowledge of music, the theoretical knowledge of music and all that. You just require the depth. Sometimes when a particular thing is sung in a particular way, how it stirs up certain emotions, how it stirs up certain kind of energy. You need to learn to appreciate that. See, as you progress in sadhana, what will happen is everything around you will start becoming so artistic for you. Now, the moment we say an art, now somebody should have created that art. So your focus will start shifting to the artist. And who is the supreme artist of this beautiful artistic creation? It is God. It is the infinite. So as you are enjoying every aspect of life and you're doing your sadhana more and more, a time would come where you will look beyond this art and you will start searching for that artist, that supreme being, that infinite supreme reality. Today you're not having that search, that mumukshatva. Why? Because that grace is not there, that artistry is not there. See, even when we are studying the Bhagavad Gita through the yogic approach, this is what you will be experiencing, right? In the yogic approach, we are looking at these verses in a very deep and artistic way. It's poetry. And it's not merely poetry which is giving some superficial principles. No, it's giving the highest principles. So anything which a master does, if he gives a lecture, it will be so original, creative, artistic. There will be so much of grace about it. If he is just doing nothing, if he is sitting quietly, still there will be a grace about it, about him. Everything which he does, he carries that grace. So whatever it is that you do, whether you dress up for a function or why for a function even normally, or whether you're sitting or whether you're talking, whether you're walking, the grace aspect in you will start increasing. The coarseness, the harshness, the grossness will start reducing. That refinement will start coming. Subtlety. In Sanskritam, there's a beautiful word, sukshmata. Sukshmata means that subtlety. And when you become so refined, your words will become very polite automatically. You will automatically have that grace of humility. Nobody needs to tell you. You will become very polite when you talk. That will have such a pleasing effect on others. A Gandharva, it's written in the Puranas that the role of a Gandharva was to please others. When the gods used to get bored or when they were depressed and all that, then they used to call the Gandharvas. And the Gandharvas used to entertain them. Their role itself was to, have a pleasing effect on others. That's so symbolic, When you do your sadhana, your personality will have a pleasing effect on others. So, Indra represents that energy of enjoyment, which means that capacity to enjoy. A Gandharva represents the grace, a refinement, that capacity to view everything in an artistic way. And as I told you, what is the spiritual value in that? When you appreciate the art, only then you will appreciate the artist. When you don't appreciate the art, where are you going to appreciate the artist? Supposing you don't like a song at all, then you will only curse the singer, no? Or you are not at all bothered about the art, then you are not going to even think about the artist. So what is the art here? It is the world. It is this wonderful universe. Every aspect of the universe is so artistic. Just look at the trees. Look at the leaves. Look at the flowers. Look at the sky. Look at the birds. Everything is so artistic. When you are not looking at all this, when you are not, all these are not creating any awe within you, then where are you going to look at the artist who is God? Everybody asks me, Sir, what is the best way to realize God? The best way to realize God is first to realize God's creation. If you want to develop devotion towards God, develop devotion and love towards the creation. Then the awe factor will automatically run towards the Creator. Appreciate the art. You will start appreciating the artist. When you discard the art, when you disrespect the art, you are disrespecting the artist. When you say, I hate the world, I don't like the people here, nothing, useless, you are actually hating God, because He is the ultimate creator. He or she or supreme power. See, some word we need to use. Please don't get caught up there. I'm sure you understand the spirit of what is being said. When you disrespect the Guru's words, you are disrespecting the Guru. When you are not following the Guru's words, you are not following the Guru. You can't say, Sir, you are my Guru, but I don't follow anything which you say. What do you think of such a student? That is why it is said, no, Guror Vakyam Param Vakyam. His words are so great. The creation is so great, so divine. It is through the creation that you can reach the Creator. It is through the art that you can reach the artist. It is through the teachings of a Guru that you can truly get connected to the Guru. So, how do you do the sadhana with this? You can start practicing it from today. Whatever it is that you are experiencing in life, you have your home, you have your family members, you have your office, you have your colleagues, whatever it is that you have, now start appreciating that genuinely from your heart. If your financial situation is such that you're able to have a particular kind of flooring, when you're walking on that, appreciate that. Tomorrow, your finance will improve. You may buy a better quality stone and you may put on the floor. But that doesn't mean you don't enjoy the previous one. You don't appreciate the previous one. Everything has its beauty. Whatever food is given to you, now eat it with that enjoyment. Now I know what is going on in a mind. So supposing salt is less, what will I do? Add some salt and eat. No, what? Why create such a big fuss and get so much upset about it? If you are drinking a cup of tea, now enjoy that and drink, no? When you are eating food, enjoy that, no, fully. When you start enjoying it, in order to enjoy it, you will have to chew that food properly in a gradual way. Otherwise, you will not be able to enjoy it. But today, you are just dumping very fast, and you are gulping it so fast. There is no grace about it. There is that harshness, You observe your own behavior. You see, the meditation is nothing but self-observation. It starts with that. See, only if you observe your behavior, then comes observing your breath, observing your pranas, observing your emotions and all that. Those are all subtler expressions, no? But first observe your own behavior. How rude you are when you're talking. How there is that harshness, when you're eating, talking, everything. Now that is where you can practice this sadhana of parjanya. And when you start practicing that, the enjoyment factor will increase so much. The same food, when you eat in a calm way, when you chew properly, and when you eat, that will give you so much of enjoyment. Incidentally, your health will start improving. When you drink a glass of water, enjoy that and drink. A master used to say, the most powerful drink, the most enjoyable drink which I have had is water. What a beautiful statement that is, if you think about it. So that is the meaning. This is a combination, Indra and Gandharva. That's why I'm taking both together. Last week I just mentioned that, but today the deeper significance of these two forms of energy have been given to you. So you should strive to invoke the energy of enjoyment and the energy of grace within you. And wherever you find that hoarseness, that harshness in your behavior, in your words, now correct yourself. Sometimes you say things to people which unnecessarily hurt them. That is nothing but harshness, rudeness. It's not only rudeness in speech. It will be manifest in so many ways. See, that is your sadhana, that is your homework. I am giving you the guideline, but you need to start observing every aspect of your life in a minute way. Then only you will be able to practice all this. Now don't send me mails, sir, if this is done, is it grace? If that is done, is it grace? You experiment and find out, no? You will know by the effect which it is creating. A yogi is one, I've always said, no, yogi is in a natural state of humility. How does he get that? It is because of this refinement. Because when you are seeing this vast artistry, this universe, now automatically all your ego goes away. It's a natural humility. It is not a put-on humility, You become so factual. And factually, it is true that you are just a small part of this entire universe. So all your thoughts, everything will start becoming so refined, and when your refinement reaches the ultimate level, that is when you can become one with God or the infinite. You need to refine yourself. When the thoughts, the emotions, the actions, the speech, the behavior, all these things are gross, harsh, you are actually disconnected from the infinite. Okay, so we'll stop with this today. Very beautiful principles have been given to you. Now it is up to you to absorb them and master them, that is in your hands only. You should see, as a sadhak, you should set an example to others. Later on, he'll be saying, you should make your actions so attractive that others should get inspired by you and they should also get into spirituality. Oh, being in spirituality means this, is it? But what you do is, instead of practicing, you're only trying to tell others, come here, come there. It will not work that way. Okay, so now before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I'll take up one question. This question has been asked by Shweta from US. Hari Om Yogishri, I feel very grateful and fortunate for the blissful experience that you give us week after week. So nice, when somebody says that. So I'm leaving out all that and getting into the question. So as a follow-up on the question that you answered in the previous session, I play the Yoga Sankirtan audios for both my kids and use only one material. I have my own personal set and often other family members are present in the background. So I am very keen that the kids start getting exposed to the discourses. They are 9 and 6. More so because they ask me so many questions that I feel unequipped to answer sometimes. How and when is the best way to do it? Can I play excerpts from the discourse? I've tried playing it in the background, but they're often so noisy. I think this is a follow-up to the answer which I had given to Pratipa about newborn baby, how do we introduce this. So first of all, what you have said is that you play the Yoga Sankirtan audios for both your kids, use only one material. I have got my own personal set. I hope you are not using your personal set to play it loudly, and especially since you have said other family members are there in the background and all that. So don't mix up those two. For your sadhana, you should have your personal set. When your child is still a baby, where it's completely dependent on you, that time it is fine. But otherwise, when especially other family members, other people and all are there, you should not mix up these two. Now, what you have said is that when I play the discourses, they are often so noisy, which means what you are saying is that they are not focusing or concentrating. See, as I have repeatedly said, children have their own way of learning. Externally, it will look as if they are not focusing or concentrating. They will be playing around and all that. But you will be surprised, they will be able to remember the points which are being given much better than you. This is not an answer merely to Shweta, this is for everyone. See, this was an experience of a couple. They were both of them were sadhaks. So they used to attend the sessions. That time it was happening in the auditorium, no? So every Sunday they used to bring their child also. Their daughter was around 8 or 9. So what happened is, after one Sunday session, they all were going back, and as they were going back to home in the car, the husband and wife, they started having an argument and they were fighting. So suddenly, after about 10 minutes, the child, she just raised her voice and said, "Both of you stop." What did Yogishri just now say? When the ego manifests, you should release that. Why don't you both do that, And what they shared with me was, they were just stunned for a second, The whole thing became so quiet. And then they understood how much this girl is absorbing. The most interesting part is, they were thinking that the girl is sleeping off in every lecture, or they used to bring some art book for the girl to draw. She used to keep drawing for a while, painting for a while, when the lecture was going on. So they thought she is not focusing or concentrating. So they were totally surprised when that girl, she was only 8 or 9, as I told you, when she said that. So the learning, see, a child learns more incidentally. Incidental learning is more for a child than when you tell the child directly. So don't think the children are creating a lot of noise when the lecture is being played and all that. They will keep picking up. That is their way of learning. Similarly, even when you're playing the Yoga Sankirtan, don't expect them to follow discipline and all that. If it's naturally doing it, that is different. But you don't insist on that. It doesn't work that way. The main thing in communicating this to your children is in you following these principles. See, why am I focusing more on parents than children directly? Because you are only going to directly influence them. For example, if you are emotionally weak, I've said, no, learn to speak up for yourself, learn to stand up for yourself. Now, when you start following that, you will pass it on to your children. They will get inspired. See, the children will get inspired by your absorption of this wisdom, and by the fact that you're practicing it and you're becoming a very strong person, you're becoming more lovable. Then they will get attracted to this more. So whatever you're doing is fine. Just don't have this expectation that they should also sit and listen and all that. Keep exposing. And the most important thing is, start practicing all this. The personal transformation is the best communication. It's the best form of communication. And the children will get connected. Many children are so connected. Sometimes I get mails from These children, they use their mother's or father's account to send mails, emails. And they are so connected. It's amazing. Okay. So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel and enjoy the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my body, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my essential self, my higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to enjoy every aspect of my life in a divine way. I choose to increase the energy of grace and refinement within me. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today many finer points were given to you. You need to reflect very deeply and personalize this. Only when you personalize this, you will be able to see what's happening, what's going wrong within, and correct it. That's all it is. And this process of self-purification, self-development, becoming more graceful, more refined, should be done on a daily basis. Don't look for perfection in this. Means, don't say, now I've become very refined, that's it, over. It's not like it's an infinite level of perfection. That's what I'm trying to say. The more you practice this, the more inspired you will be to practice more and more of this. This is what is the experience of all the yogis. Okay? So regarding the 22-day empowerment course, all these are also preparing you. The Nididhyasana meditation also is preparing you, plus the preparatory energy is being given to you as you, once you register and commit yourself. Apart from your personal sadhana and all that, you should also develop the receptive capacity. So don't come to that course with your own preconceived notions. So from now itself, I'm giving a few things like this so that you become ready, to get the full benefit. One sadhak has asked this question. She's 16 years old. So what she has asked is this course applicable for me, Yogishri? Because I'm only 16 and I'm not got into any relationship. I'm nowhere near marriage and all that. So I would request all of you, including that girl who has asked this question, to read whatever material has been given to you first about the course. See, without doing that, just seeing some captions, immediately don't ask such a question. Because if this course is not merely meant for married people or for this is for all relationships. Don't you have friends? Don't you have parents? Don't you have siblings? You have teachers. You're constantly relating with someone. Supposing you tell me, no sir, I am single, I am all alone by myself. You are relating to yourself first. That is why, if you notice, a lot of emphasis has been laid on emotional mastery, emotional balance, emotional purification. All these things will happen during the empowerment. And then various techniques by which you can relate to others. Just as I told you, the capacity to enjoy. Similarly, the energy of divine, of relationship in a divine way, that will be triggered within you. So you will start relating to yourself in a divine way. You will start relating to others in a divine way. The transformation will be amazing. So This is not like those courses where, they just give you tips. You talk this, you talk that, and it's not going to be like that. This is a complete transformative course. See, as far as true sadhaks are concerned, these topics, all these things do not matter. Empowerment course, that's all. Let me just come and do the intense sadhana with a master and receive the higher grace. The topics, the other things are incidental. See, I am giving out all that so that you gain more inspiration. Otherwise, even without a topic, we can have an empowerment course. Just if I just say, this is your empowerment, that is more than enough. But these additions will give you more knowledge. It will increase the inspiration more. That is why we are doing that. Okay, I hope it is clear. If you have any other question also, please ask. So this is not a restricted course like that. You will learn how to handle your emotions better. You will become emotionally very mature. Through that, you will learn how to relate to others. The whole energy pattern will change from within. That is going to be one of the key sadhanas in this empowerment course. And of course, a lot of practical tips, how you relate with your partner, how you relate with children, everything will be given. See, you read that material. The link has been sent to you, no? Read it fully, go through it once. Then you will get more clarity. Okay? So we'll close with this. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.